Okay, so today our topic is unitary method. Okay, so unitary method, this word unitary, it comes from a word unit. Okay, unit means one. Okay, unit means one. Okay, that means here whatever our question will be, first of all we have to find the value of one item. Okay, then we will find out the whatever the question asks. Okay, now first of all there are two types of variations here. Okay, direct variation and inverse variation. Okay, now see, what is the meaning of direct and what is the meaning of inverse variation? So first of all, direct variation is a type of variation where if the value of one item increases, then its corresponding value also increases. For example, if I have to go to the market and if I buy 4 kg apple, okay, suppose 4 kg apple costs rupees 300, suppose. Okay, now if I buy more apples, if I buy more amount of apples, the more money I have to pay. Okay, so here if the amount of apple increases, the amount of money which I have to pay, it also increases. Okay, so this type of variation is known as direct variation. Okay, now here if I have to buy less amount of apple, then I have to pay less money. Okay, so if the value of apple increases, if the amount of apple increases, then the money which I have to pay, it also increases. Okay, and if the amount of apple, if I am buying less amount of apple, that means I have to pay less amount of money. Okay, so this type of variation is known as direct variation. Okay, now next is inverse variation. So which type of variation is known as inverse variation? Let us see. Now, for inverse variation, we will assume one example. Suppose it takes 5 hours to reach a certain place at the speed of 80 km per hour. Okay, now here the main thing here is the time and the speed. Okay, so time and speed. Now this is for example. Now there are other examples which also follow inverse variation. We will see so those examples. So first let us see one example and let us try to understand it. Okay, so it takes 5 hours to reach a certain place at 80 km per hour. Now here the speed is 80 km per hour. Okay, and the time taken is 5 hours. Okay, now see, if I have to increase my speed, now if I am suppose increasing the speed 100 km per hour, okay, then obviously my time taken will be less than 5 hours. Okay, similarly if I am traveling at a lower speed, for example 60 km per hour, then the time taken will be more. Okay, so here what happens, if the speed increases, the time taken to reach that place decreases. So if one increases, other decreases. So this type of variation is inverse variation. Okay, now here also if the speed decreases, the time taken to reach the certain place, it increases. Okay, that means the person will take a longer time. Okay, so this type of variation is known as inverse variation. Okay, and here when value of one article increases, the other one corresponding to this also increases. That means this is a direct variation. Okay, so direct and inverse, these two types of variations are there in this unitary method chapter. Okay, now let us see some examples and we will try to understand each type of variation. Okay, so this question is the question of direct variation. Okay, so here the question says that cost of 7 kg apple is 350 rupees. So find the cost of 5 kg apple. Okay, now see, so first of all we'll start like this. Okay, solution. Okay, so 7 kg costs how much? Rupees 350. Okay, so 1 kg costs how much? Now unit, okay, unitary method, unit 1, we have to find the value of 1 kg apple. Okay, so it costs rupees 350 by 7. Okay, that means it cost how much? 50 rupees. Okay, now so therefore we have to find the value of 5 kg. So 5 kg costs rupees 50 into 5, that is rupees 250. Okay, so my final answer is 250. Okay, so here the main thing, okay, which we have to pay attention here is the process which we are following. Okay, so in direct variation, to find the value of 1, we divide. Okay, we divide by the cost. Okay, also we have to be careful that whatever we have to find, for example, we have to find the cost. Okay, we have to find the cost of the apple. So in the given statement, this is the given statement. So in the given statement, the cost should be on the right side. It should be placed on the right side. Whatever we have to find, it should be placed on the right side. Okay, in the given statement, whatever, like cost is given 350 and we have to find the cost. So if from the given statement, the cost of 7 kg apple, the cost should be on the right side. Okay, and if it is a direct variation, then we have to divide by the amount here. First step is the division and the next step is the multiplication. Okay, so make a note here, that is for direct variation, okay, the first step is division, okay, and the second step will be my multiplication. Okay, first step will be division, second step will be multiplication. Okay, and then we will follow this method. Okay, now next let us see about inverse variation. Okay, so my next question is, it takes 3 men to do a certain work 10 days. Okay, find how many days it will take 5 men to complete the work. Okay, now this question, first of all we have to understand whether it is a direct or inverse variation. Okay, now see here what happens, men and work. Okay, so men and work, okay, this question is a question of inverse variation. How? Now see, more men, okay, more men can do the same work in less amount of time. So if the number of men increases, the number of days in which they can complete the work, it decreases. Okay, so if one increases, other decreases, inverse variation. Okay, now let us see how to solve this question. Now again you see, we have to find in how many days, we have to find the number of days. So in the given statement, okay, this is my given statement. In the given statement, the number of days should be placed on the right side first of all. Okay, so we will write like this, solution. So 3 men can complete the work in how many days? 10 days. Okay, now so one man, okay, so one man can complete the work in, now in inverse variation we have to be careful here, that in inverse variation, my first step will be multiplication and the second step will be division. Okay, now see here, so one man can complete the work in 10 into 3 days. Okay, now obviously if 3 men can do it in 10 days, more men, okay, so if the number of men reduces to 1, now obviously this alone, one man, will take more than 10 days. Okay, now so therefore 5 men, so 5 men can complete the work in 10 into 3 by 5 days. Okay, now this 5 cancels by 2, so 6 days is my answer. Okay, so 3 men can do it in 10 days, so 5 men can do it in 6 days. Okay, understood? Direct and inverse variation, very easy question. Okay, first of all you have to understand this thing, you have to memorize this thing, that for direct variation the first step will be division and second step will be multiplication. For inverse variation the first step will be multiplication, second step will be division. Okay, now let us see our next topic. Okay, copy this. Okay, so my next topic is time and work. Okay, so time and work, so there are 2 formulas which we have to memorize, okay, to solve the questions of time and work. Now the first formula is 1 day work. Okay, so 1 day work is 1 by number of days required to complete the work. Okay, these two formulas which you have to memorize. Okay, next is similarly, if number of days required to complete the work will be 1 by 1 day work. Okay, now for example, suppose if a man, okay, if a man takes 20 days to complete the work. Okay, so his 1 day work will be, okay, his 1 day work will be 1 by 20. Okay, understood? So if a man takes 20 days to complete the work, so his 1 day work will be 1 by 20. Okay, similarly, if his 1 day work is 1 by 20, therefore if his 1 day work is, suppose 1 by 30, okay, so number of days required to complete the work will be the reciprocal of 1 day work. Okay, 1 by 1 day work. Okay, so 1 day work is 1 by 30, so its reciprocal, that is 30 days. Okay, understood? So these two things are very important in this chapter, which you have to be very careful to solve all the questions. Okay, now let us see some questions and try to understand it. Okay. Okay, so this is my next question. A completes a work. Okay, there are two people. Okay, A and B. So A completes the work in 4 days and B completes the work in 6 days. Okay, now if they work separately, so A can do that work in 4 days and B can do that work in 6 days. Now they are working together. Okay, so we have to find in how many days they will be able to complete their work. Okay, so first of all, here we will write that 1 day work of A will be how much? 1 day work of A will be, now A completes the work in 4 days, so 1 day work of A will be 1 by 4. Okay, just now we saw that formula. Similarly, 1 day work of B will be how much? If B completes the work in 6 days, so 1 day work of B will be 1 by 6. Okay, so together 1 day work will be how much? Together 1 day work will be 1 by 4 plus 1 by 6. Now we have to take LCM. LCM of 6 and 4 will be 12. Okay, now divide this, it will be 3 plus 2, that is 5 by 12. Okay, so together 1 day work is 5 by 12. So therefore time taken to complete the work together, is 1 by 1 day work. Okay, so 1 by 5 by 12, that means 12 by 5, the reciprocal. Okay, the reciprocal of 1 day work. Okay, that means it is 2 by 5 days. Okay, we can leave it up to here also, no problem, or even if you want we can convert it into mixed fraction, no problem. Okay, so this is how we solve the question. Okay, now similarly some questions will be there, that is tap question. First tap can fill a tank in certain hours, second tap can fill the tank in certain hours. Now both tap are working together, then in how much time they will be able to fill the tank. So similarly, time taken, so 1 hour work or 1 minute work, okay, whatever will be the time given for the tap. Okay, so 1 hour work for the tap will be 1 by the time taken to complete it. Okay, and similarly for 1 hour we have to find the tap B, and then we have to add this, and then we have to do the reciprocal. We'll get the time taken to fill the tank for both the taps when they are working together. Okay, so this is it about this chapter. Okay, this is the basic idea, very easy chapter. Okay, try to complete this chapter. If you have any problem you can ask. Okay, no problem.